So this is the Itel S23. It's one of the budget phones in Kenya right now, and I feel we can't really talk about this phone without talking about the cameras and the design first, because this back is able to change color when exposed to certain conditions. So there are actually two colors to this smartphone. There is the mystery white, which is this one, and there is a starry black, but only the mystery white is able to change color. So when you expose this back to direct sunlight, it changes color from white to pink. And that's because the material used to make this back reacts to the radiation in sunlight. So there is only one color it changes to, and that is pink. And the intensity of the color depends on the intensity of the sunlight. But even then, it does not retain the color for too long, and as soon as you remove it from the sunlight, it starts changing color back from pink to white. You can also change its color by using a UV lamp. Aside from that, this back resists fingerprints very well, and it's so easy to keep clean. Now the second thing here is the camera setup. So the camera on top is the main camera. This is a 12 megapixel lens, but this is a dual camera system, and so with the help of that secondary lens, this phone is able to take a 50 megapixel shot in what Itel calls the Ultra HD mode. Speaking of modes, there are 11 modes on the Itel S23 camera app. There is a video mode, which allows you to take a picture while still shooting the video, which you just snap a frame from the actual video you're shooting. There is a HDR mode. There is a Pro mode, which allows you to adjust the ISO, the EV for a more manual approach. There is a super night mode, there is a HDR mode, there is a portrait mode for both the front and the back camera, which you won't see in most budget phones. And at the front, there is a 8 megapixel camera on the water drop notch, and it takes decent photos for a selfie. The Itel S23 has a 6.6 inch display resolution. This is a 720p HD resolution, and it can go up to 90 Hz of refresh rate, which is actually good for this price, considering this is a budget phone, but you can also adjust between 60 and 90 based on your liking. And it also performs fairly well in the sunlight. I can still read text, and the place where it actually outperforms is in the dark, because I can actually dim the display and then use an extra dim feature to actually reduce its brightness even further, which is actually very nice for reading text at night or using your phone at night. The only downfall I found is that it cannot automatically adjust the brightness, and so you'll just have to manually from time to time reduce or increase the brightness level according to your environment. Speaking of battery life, the Itel S23 has a 5000 mAh battery, which is actually good for this price. It charges over a USB Type-C, and it can take about 3 hours and 35 minutes to charge from 0 to 100, which is long, I know, but that's because the Itel S23 comes with a 10-watt charging brick in the box. As of the usage though, I get about 8 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time on a light use on a full charge, which is enough to last me the whole day. Speaking of the internals, there are actually 3 models of this phone on Itel's website, but this Itel S23, this is the 128 by 4 gigs of RAM version, but you can also add 4 gigs of extra virtual RAM, and you can max it out at 8 gigs of RAM. Oh, and speaking of software, the Itel S23 is running Android 12 OS and Itel's version 8.6. It has a side-mounted fingerprint that is on the power button, and I have to say the fingerprint is actually very fast from this phone. As of the price, this phone retails at about 15,500 Kenyan shillings, but the price will vary depending on where you buy it. But these are some good specs on a budget. Anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel and